僕をダメなやつと思う。鏡を見つめる僕を見下げているけど中には大きな力希望がある。 Maybe I'm a little young but you don't know what I've become. Can't you see it in my face? A demon living in disguise, but you can see the killer in my eyes. I've got a look you can't escape. You can't escape. No one understood the world that I was making. Look me in the face and tell me I was faking. Maybe I'm a little young, but you don't know what I've become. Can't you see it in my face? A demon living in disguise, but you can see the killer in my eyes. I've got a look you can't escape. What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let 'em burn it out. Sell 'em to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. Our brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. You think you've got my number figured out? A motive born in drought and brevity. And if I'm not the soul of your design, I blatantly decline your remedy. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. I wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, and if I lose the fight, I still rage against the
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of Coach's Corner. Week 3 is over. It's a big week. A lot to talk about. A lot went on. A lot of good games. A lot of big matchups. A lot of surprising wins. Some wins we expected. Before we get into all that, though, we do want to say, as a lot of you guys in Discord know, if you're new to Discord, if you're new to the league, you may not know. Coach Nismo had to sit down as coach of UCA this week. He had some personal issues go on. We want to say shout out to Coach Nismo. Our thoughts and prayers are with you, bud. We're all here for you if you need anything, and man, we're waiting for you to get back on your time, bud. So, shout out to Coach Nismo. Everybody sends lots of prayers to Coach Nismo. As always, guys, I'm joined by Coach Pars from UConn, and I'm joined by this time Coach Blake. No, Coach K. No, it's just Pars today, guys. We had another fist fight in the backstage area, and Pars won again. So Pars is 2-0 in the fist fight versus other RFL coaches category. Coach Pars, how you feeling tonight, bud?
I'm great, man. I'm undefeated in coach mode, and I'm undefeated in fist fights. I've never felt better in my life.
Undefeated in season 2 of Coach Mode, not all time, just
just
clear anything, but all time fist fights 2-0. So we're good to go there. So Pars, it was a big week. Any words that come to mind before we get too much into it about how this week went? What you saw?
Yeah. One word that runs through my mind is a word that nobody's gonna like. Fluke week. And we're going to see if that actually plays out next week and the rest of the season. But this week, we saw a lot of things we have yet to see in the RFCL from a lot of teams. We have yet to see them. So it's just UCA won. Y'all's offense had a career night. Just a bunch of things happened. And we're looking at what could be fluke week, or we're looking at the start of something special for every other team.
I think it's a pretty good way. Like we always talk about potential of certain teams. Some teams showed that potential. Other teams didn't show their potential. Like, so is that like a sign of things to come, or things switching, or is it just like a one-off? So a lot that could happen. But first, I think we should go and get into the polls of week 3. Let's go through our top 10. We can talk about where we think everybody's at, what we think. So to start off, UCO State's number 1. UConn State's number 2. There's a tie at number 3 between App State and Georgetown. Georgetown's up from number 6. App State went from number 4. UIU drops down from 3 to 5. Miami, Ohio drops from 5 to 6. UCA goes from 10 to 7. NDSU goes from 9 to 8. Montana drops from number 7 to number 9. And Coastal drops from 7 all the way down to 10th place. So we'll talk about. Pars, what were your first thoughts on this poll when you saw it? Do you think everybody's where they should be? What are your thoughts on this?
As of right now, I think everyone's where they should be. We're 3 weeks in. We're starting to understand what teams are, what they can do, and where they should be. When we look at App State and UConn tied third, I don't like ties. I want somebody to be above and under. And in my opinion, your wins have been more impressive. Their defense has been outstanding, and they're winning games based off their defense and Spurbeck running the ball. They completed 3 passes last week and won the game by a mile. So it's really like offense has been more impressive on one spot, and then your defense, the vice grip is fantastic. So the 3-0 to the 2-1, I could see it being a tie. Right now, I just have you guys as a more talented team, in my opinion, through the first 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah, no one likes ties. But it is what it is. I think, they're 3-0, so I think they're the legit number 3 team. It's hard to put a one-loss team above an under 15 at this point in the season. Maybe later down the road if your schedule kind of works itself out. But I would put the number 3, us at 4, just based on they're undefeated so far. Shout
out to App State.
Yeah, shout out to App State 3-0. They're one of the 3 undefeated teams left. Obviously, UCO, UConn, and App State are all undefeated. So that brings us to me, the bottom is pretty interesting. I think Coastal should be above NDSU and Montana. Now, granted, it's based off last year, but they've also lost to number 1, UCO, number 2, UConn, number 3, Georgetown. I have that right? Is that correct? Yeah, they played 3 top 3 teams, and they're 0-3. So I think their losses are, as awful as this is to say, their losses are better than Montana's losses. Their losses are better than North Dakota State's losses. So I think they're lower. I think it's a little disrespectful, personally.
When I look at that with what that is, I'll say that NDSU's been in a game. Right? They haven't been in every game, but they've been in a game. Montana's been in a game as well. I think they've been in 2 games. So really, when you look at it, Coastal's given up 30 points a game, if not more. I think I'm the lowest, and that's 34-7. UCO scored 40, you scored 48. It's just so, and when you take that in consideration, the other 2 people have been in games. So right now, I think that's okay.
I see what you're saying, but so 2 of those teams for sure are the 2 best offensive teams in the league. Like, who have you not dropped 30 plus on? You dropped 30 plus on Montana as well, didn't you?
Dropped 30 plus on everybody.
They played teams who, other than Georgetown, who we're gonna make that a normal thing. We're gonna average 48 the rest of the way. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. No, but they played the 2 of the 3 teams they played, all top 3. One was one of the best defenses in the league last year and carrying over this year. I'm not saying y'all's isn't UConn or UC. I'm just saying that's our strength. Yeah. And then they played the 2 best offensive teams in the league. So I can see where they're giving up points. It's a bad scheduling for them first 3 weeks.
That's fair.
So they're gonna look to get it going. But that's my thought. I would put them higher just based on last year and based on this year. They played 3 really good teams. We'll say 2 really good teams and then a team that is up for everybody else to decide. But that's my thought on the top 10. You have any thoughts on this top 10?
Yeah, and Ender puts a good thing. NDSU's done the same, I guess, with UCO, us, and I believe they played App State. So yeah, technically for them too, I guess. But it really is. I do agree with you though.
But it's like this is for everybody. The polls don't matter that much. It's all opinion to the head coaches. The rankings won't come into effect for the playoffs. It'll be it's just top 3 teams from each division. It's 2 divisions. So it's really just fun to talk about. Yes. And so that is where we're at on polls. So not super important, but it's just fun to talk about, kind of discuss it, et cetera, et cetera. So that will bring us to the first matchup of the week, which is going to be a good one to talk about because it actually led to a fight last week. And that is going to be UConn versus Montana. It was a Monday game. I'll start here, Pars. You can talk about it because you coached a minute. Obviously, you and Blake had a little bit of a tiff over this fist fight wise. Blake had to show up last second, drove him a game by ambulance, and then they had to take his team out on ambulance because his beatdown was so bad. Score 40-7. It was close for a little bit, if I remember right, and then UConn just pulled away. Kind of thing as expected. Montana's team on offense looking for an identity. UConn knows their identity on offense and is really good at it. And then obviously some more news this week as far as head coaching. Coach Jet has taken over the role as head coach of Montana. Coach Blake will officially be stepping away from RFL for a little bit. He's got some stuff going on in real life, some good stuff, nothing bad, but he'll be stepping away. So this was a bad matchup for Montana to begin with, and none of that really helped. So, Pars, what was your thoughts going into this game, and how do you think it went to go how you thought it was going to go, and how excited you to beat Montana?
Listen, it's the little brother of the rivalry, obviously. When we look at it, it was a tight game. It was 10-7 all the way until halfway through the third. So they really kept it tight. They really played good defense. We were driving, but at no point did we score. We scored 30 points in 8 minutes. So that's really what it comes down to, is the fact that we scored 30 points in 8 minutes, which could be the fastest anyone scored 30 until you guys. So it felt good to beat them, and we absolutely ran away with it in the end.
Yeah, you really did. It for a little bit there, Montana was going to put up a fight. I was even fun. I was like, okay, this could be a good game, and then it slowly just kind of got out of hand, and it just got worse and worse as it went along. What was the score at half? The score at half was
10-7. Hey, my dog is getting real sick. I'll be right back. I'm sorry.
Yeah, do your thing, man. No worries. I got it going. Yeah, so the game was close to half, 10-7. Every time, okay, Montana, might pull us out, might be able to do this, and then it just slowly just kind of turned, and Montana couldn't get it going. UConn got it going, and it got worse and worse until 40-7 was the final of that game. And so games like this are kind of what brings up the discussion of what do we do with number one? Does UCO stay number one? Does UConn go number one? There's a lot of talk about UConn go number one. Rightfully so. I mean, they're playing really well, but I really think UCO stays number one until it's proven otherwise. Then I don't deserve that, which will happen in week 5, by the way, at latest, because UConn and UCO play in week 5. But, UCO has been just as impressive. Maybe not quite as impressive, but very impressive. Roll from last year, the national champions. They're on a roll again still. I don't see a way you can justifiably take away their spot. UConn's earned the talk. I don't think they've earned the actual votes, because side by side, they're still both just super impressive. So, rival game that puts Coach Pars up 2-1 on Blake. All-time rivalry. Blake got the win that matters the most, though, in the playoffs last season. So a little bit of an edge there, but 2-1 total for Pars. So let's go to the next matchup. Next matchup was Central Arkansas versus Upper Iowa, in a game that did not go how we all thought it would go. We all thought UCA was going to get smoked. Again, prayers to Coach Nismo. Thoughts and prayers there. Hopefully that will take care of itself. He'll be back soon enough. But this game, I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of this game, so I don't know a whole lot happened. But it's finally been 24-10, so it seems like it was UCA pretty early, pretty often. I don't know if they pulled away later. But surprise win. UCA's first win of the season. Obviously, it bumped them up in the polls all the way to number 7 from number 10. So they're on their way up. They're trending up. Coach Bucky did a great job taking that team on short notice and getting them in where they need to be. Getting into a good UIU team. UIU has beat Georgetown this year, number 3 in the country. UIU also beat Montana this year, who's struggling, but is a good win. So UIU was on the way up, and UCA kind of put us up to that. Got their first win of the season. So it's very exciting for them. I'm sure they're very, very pumped to get on the way up. And they believe that was a division win for them as well, which is huge. Let me check. Yes. So again, division record is what matters the most here, right, guys? Division is the most important thing in the league, go to the playoffs. This puts Central Arkansas, UCOs are more in that division, 2-0. Central Arkansas and Upper Iowa are now tied in 1-1. Obviously, UCA has the tiebreaker. So UCA right now is in a playoff spot, looking good, looking ready to go. They got to keep that going. They need another win or two to get to clinch a playoff spot. Need at least probably one more for sure. But they're on their way. They're on their way, which is good. And Coach Bucky is our interview tonight, but I do kind of want to Wait till Pars is back. If Pars might be gone for the night, boys. It may just be trigger for us tonight. Maybe just triggering you guys, hanging out, talking about Coaches League. Let's see if Bucky's ready. So kind of going forward, both these teams got big games coming up. They're going to need to win division. UIU now needs some help. Need UCA to lose some games because they do not have the head-to-head tiebreaker. So that'll be interesting to see where that goes and who can pull out of that division. Top 3 teams get in. It's 6 teams per division. Top 3 teams from each get in. So 3 will be eliminated. 1. Oh, yeah. 1, 2. Yeah, okay. 5 teams each division. Sorry. 3 teams get in. So 4 get left out. So division wins are huge. UCA got that division win. And again, we're kind of waiting for Coach Parshers who shows up. Not, we'll go to the next one. And then let's do the next game. And if the next game doesn't, if Parson back, we'll go to Coach Bucky. All right. So next game on the docket. Sorry guys, we're kind of going back and forth. This was kind of thrown together last second. We planned on doing Saturday, then we had some issues. So now we are doing it Saturday, but we weren't quite ready. Miami of Ohio, App State was the next game. I want you guys to see their helmets are so cool. Graphics are awesome. Shout out to Monarch for the graphics on the polls, by the way. Great job by him. Maybe App State. This is a big game. This is a proven game for both teams. App State looking to keep going. They only had 1 win last year. They already had 2 wins. They wanted to get that 3rd win. Really, it's building on last season's end of the year success. Miami expansion team got a big first win. Week 1. Played Georgetown week 2. Didn't go as well. Took a loss. So came to App State. We're going to show, hey, no, we do belong here. We are a top 3, top 4, top 5 team for sure. Ready to cement their legacy in this league. Mason Taylor at quarterback, LT at running back. It was a close game. It was a close game again. App State's defense came down with a clutch pick 6 to ice it again to get the win 20-10. Miami was driving down at the end of the game to take the lead and take the win. It was 13-10. Miami was driving. They were getting close to the red zone. And for 2 weeks in a row, App State's defense comes up big, clutch, pick 6. Also, second week in a row that Mason Taylor throws an interception on the last drive to cost his team the game. Obviously, he didn't cost the team the game, but it did. It was the final nail in the coffin. So something to work out there for Coach Miami, Ohio. Their offense needs to get going a little more. They did good week 1, and so far they were good in the first half against Georgetown, and they've kind of sputtered since then, scoring only 23 points last 2 games combined. After their week one where they scored 30 in 1 game, so they've kind of slowed down a little bit. They look to get that going. I think they get an idea. Coach Merrill and company, they got to get stuff going. I think just kind of mix up a little more, get Mason going a little better, get LT going a little more. They seem to give up on the run a little fast. I'm a little biased as LT is my recruit in the league, but I feel like they gave it up on it a little quick. They couldn't get much. LT only had 3 rushes through like 3 quarters, and so I know you couldn't get the run going, but if only 3 runs, did you try that much? But again, I'm a little biased towards LT, obviously. So, and then App State, their offense still can't quite get going. Their defense has been rock solid all of last season and more into this season. Defense is really keeping them alive. Sorry, guys. I'm going to get 14 points week 1 in Montana, 7 points from North Dakota State, and only get 10 points here. So they've only get 17. 31 points total in 3 games. That's barely over 10 points a game, which is very impressive. And we'll hope you win a lot of games. Why they're 3-0. They are currently only 1-0 in the division. They had a week off in the division. So they're 1 in the division. They're looking good there. Not falling behind at all. You cannot afford to fall behind division games. They're not doing that. So they're looking really good. So teams going two directions right now again. App State's still going the way up. I was on them early in the preseason. I thought they'd be one of the favorites to win it this year. I think they are that 3rd best team right now still, being undefeated. Behind UCO and UConn. Miami's better than I thought they'd be. I think they're kind of going to hit reality. I think they're around a 6-7, which they're on the polls. So I think that's about where they're going to stay. I think it's where they probably are going to end up finishing the season at. They're in that mid-tier. Expansion team, only one recruiting class. It was a good recruiting class, as we know, but it is what it is. Being behind a recruiting class is big time. So they'll finish 6-7, I think, and then build on that team for next year. With that being said, let's go ahead and bring Bucky in. Keep the show going. Bring Bucky in for our interview. See how they're feeling. See if you can go and broadcast. If not.
I'm sorry about that. Sorry, guys. I was
Are you-
unprofessional.
Oh, you're good, Pars. So Pars, I went over the game between UCA and UIU. I'm about to bring Bucky in right now. Actually, if you want to talk to Bucky.
Yeah, let's talk to Buck. Can he get in broadcast?
I don't think so. I'm gonna tell. Let's
team
go to
one.
team one.
Yeah.
And that does bring us to Coach Bucky, our Coach of the Week, leading UCA to a big win over UIU, big first win of the year. Very exciting. Taking over again for Coach Nismo. Again, thoughts and prayers, Coach Nismo. I can't say that enough. Bucky, how you feeling, man? How are you feeling going a short week? First game head coach against a good team, top 3, top 4 teams at that point in the league. How you feeling, man? What were you thinking?
I mean, as a team, it wasn't just me. I mean, as a team, we were feeling really prepared going into that game, and obviously losing Nismo for that game was a big shot, and then losing Pete as well was a big blow. And me and Indian Man just had to try and hit him with what we could, and we got it done for UCA and the boys. So. And I was on vacation too, so I had to muster up a little phone setup as well. So it was a lot, but I'm just glad we got a win, and hopefully we could carry some momentum into North Dakota State next week.
Oh, that's a good game.
What do you got for him, Pars?
All right, hey Buck. Again, congratulations. A team that we thought wouldn't win a game this season actually gets the dub on at that time in power rankings, a top 3 team. You're on vacation. Niz is out. Pete's out. Indian Man's the only one home. Nicotine has to come on and control the team for y'all. Just like, how stressful was it going into that game? Because you didn't know you could even be there with the vacation and everything. How stressful was it going into that game? And just to see Parker Howe have a career day, like, how did that feel? How special was that?
It was a little stressful because I mean I was in a car for like 4 hours that day, and I was like talking. I was literally in the car on my phone on Discord screaming with Nicotine and Indian Man, literally in the car. And then like halfway through, like I'd cut out and then I'd cut back in. Obviously we're on a highway, not very good internet there. And then I'd get back to my hotel room at like 4 p.m. and I'm like, boys, I can't go out with y'all. I have to stay in this hotel room, and I have to go in here and coach a game. And they're like, all right. And then I had to sit there in a hotel room and coach it from there. It was a little stressful, really stressful. But what else was what else was happening in the question?
Parker Howe had a season.
Oh, right,
Like,
dude.
he had his best
I
game.
swear to God, that kid is so frustrating. Every freaking scrim, every time we play with that kid, he is like, I'll give him credit. Best game I have ever seen him play in my entire life, and hopefully he can keep it up, because that kid, he needs to play up to his strengths, man. that kid, I like him a lot, but he isn't very consistent. But he played really great that game, and hopefully he could get it done for the next couple of weeks. Hopefully he could squeeze into the playoffs.
Yeah, that kind of has been the Parker Howe's MO so far. Very consistent. At times he's lights out. Looks like a Heisman candidate. Looks like maybe the best quarterback in the league. Other times he looks like he is just not in his element, which has really probably cost UCA some games this season and last season. But he showed up against UIU, and it showed. So were y'all able to game plan for UIU at all? Did you expect anything from them? Were you able to kind of look at them at all, or were you just everything looks like it was a real big mess, and we're discombobulated with you on vacation and things. So like, were you able to actually game plan and expect anything, or did y'all just fly into it, base plan, and it worked out?
Well, like an hour before the game, me and Indian Man were in Team One, RFCL Team One, and we were watching the UIU's game from the past week
right
against Georgetown, I believe. And we were just watching like halfway through that game, and then once we had no time left, we just got in the game and started rolling. And Indian Man called great on defense. Pete helped him out too. He was DMing him like in the background as well. Because obviously Indian Man, it's his first time going into a game, so he didn't know exactly entirely what to do. So Pete was helping him out, and he made the right calls. I made the right calls, and we got it done.
When you look at the team and what you guys were able to do, what conversations have been like about you going forward? Do you keep head coach? What conversations? Because you guys have a lot of coaches on that staff, so a lot of them actually are in each and every game. Have you guys had conversations about what it's going to look like going forward?
Well, we don't entirely know yet. It's still like it's like still early, almost mid-season. So we have a lot of time to think about that until, the next season comes around. But I'm not really entirely sure about it. Since it's going 18 plus, I think I'd probably get the call because Nismo's not 18, Pete's not 18, A-Man is 18 or over 18, but he didn't really have that much time outside of going to the game. So I think I might get the call, but nothing's really certain yet. And we're just trying to focus on finishing this season before we go to the next.
Fun fact, UCA's had a different head coach every single week so far. So we can't wait to see what happens next week.
You're on the chopping block, Buck. You're on the chopping block. So
it's over for me. It's over.
What's going to happen to Bucky? Although you're also the first coach to win, so maybe UCA has high standards. You win them all, or you get fired.
Yeah. If I lose next week, it's over for me. I'm fired. So one of y'all gonna have to pick me up.
So kind of talking about looking in the future, we just talked about big game against North Dakota State next week. Looking building momentum. North Dakota State, new coach as well. Coach Kernsey has taken over that for Coach Ender. They were pretty impressive against UCO last week. Really held that offense in check. What are you looking to do against North Dakota State? What do you expect from them, and how do you guys think you're going to do?
Well, I mean, they're definitely a different team than they were the first 2 weeks. Kernsey is trying to turn that program around. He's been doing a pretty good job. I was watching that game, at least the second half of that game. I saw they were only down by 3, and I was like, wow, they've been holding in there, the number 1 team in the country, and they barely just let it slip away from them. So it's definitely not going to be a easy game. I mean, they're 0-3, but it's not. The record doesn't matter. They got a whole new coaching staff. It's kind of like us too. I mean, like they could have won that game last week as well, and they could have been on some momentum. It's a big division game too, so hopefully we're gonna be able to win this. I haven't really me and my coach staff hasn't really gone around to watching film on them yet, but we're gonna be working on it soon. We have a Thursday game, so we have a lot of time. So yeah, we're waiting on doing that, but obviously not a snoozer game. Most people would think so, but just because they're 0-3, people would think so, but it really is not a snoozer game. You gotta take every game one by one. You know what I mean?
That's a great way to look at it. I mean, I keep thinking that since I have a Monday game, everybody's watched tape. I've already watched hours of Miami tape. So to hear someone hasn't watched tape is just funny to me, but I keep forgetting my game's on Monday.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a big game. So, obviously you touched on divisions are pretty important. The way it looks, if you guys pull out a win and Montana loses, I believe you're in. For all intents and purposes, there may be some 4-way tie situation, but I ignore those. I don't think that's ever going to happen and be an issue. So it is a big game for you guys. Everybody kind of wrote you off for week 2, but week 3 is a big win. You might be able to pull off a playoff for pretty early and be able to coast the rest of the season. How's that make you feel? Is that pretty exciting, you think, or is that more nerve-wracking?
It is not nerve-wracking at all. I mean, I wasn't nervous. I mean, I was nervous, a little nervous going into the game last week, but now, I mean, like, I've gotten my first game shivers off. I mean, I know what plays work. I know what plays don't. I know it's my first season in the RFCL, but I'm getting things figured out. Obviously, I can't play defense, but Indian Man's there to do it for me. So we got a lot of things to work out, but I mean, all of our coaching staff feels really confident going forward. And if we get that win next week, obviously, we're not just going to give up if we get a playoff spot and just tank the rest of the season. But, if we get that win next week, it'll feel really good, and we'll have a really high chance making it in the playoffs. So hopefully we could get that done next week.
Very nice. Bars, anything else for Coach Bucky?
Just as soon as you said that, I had to go look for myself. The West is in shambles.
Anyways,
Yeah, yeah.
other than that, no, I'm good with Buck for this week. Hey, great win, buddy. I knew you'd be special in this league. Just need to see if you can do it again. Again, will it be the fluke week, or will you guys show that you guys are here?
Hopefully it doesn't pan out that way, but I don't think it's a fluke at all.
All right, Buck. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for stopping by and talking to us. If you're talking to Nismo, tell him we're all thinking about him. We're all with him. So thanks, Buck.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Also, Pars, I'm sorry for yelling at you. I thought you were laughing at me pregame.
No, you're good. You're good. See you later.
All right, bro. I'll catch y'all later.
See you, buddy.
See you. Back to broadcast.
Yes, sir. So talking to Buck there, fun guy. So we can coach this league, active, mature. Should be a lot of fun. I like Coach Buck. So while we were gone, Pars, I went and jumped to the App State Miami game before we got an interview with Bucky. I could work out perfectly. Showed up right in time. So I talked a lot about this game. What were your thoughts on this game? And what do you see out of these two teams?
No, App State's defense wins them another game. And that just happens to be how it's going right now. All they can do is run the ball. App State completed 3 passes on the day and won the game, and it wasn't close. So that's just your defense winning the game, MT3 and LT not being able to do a single thing. And at the end of the day, if you hold a quarterback to 3 completions, you've got to win that game.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I said earlier, and I am biased, obviously, with LT being a guy I'm close to. I think they gave up on the run too early. I mean, I get like you weren't getting worth run, but you only gave him 3 carries through like 3 quarters. Like I those 3 carries may not have worked well, but like I think he deserves more, and your offense deserves to give it a better look.
Yeah, I would.
So
agree.
I feel they gave it too early on it.
No, it all comes down to MT3 being a freshman, and really he's a run-first quarterback. And we've seen in this league, run-first quarterbacks really need to heat up before they can even do anything. Sometimes MT3 will heat up extremely quick, like he did against you guys, and then cool off fast because they go to the air too many times. So really, this team does give up on the run, but I think they know everybody's playing against the run right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. Everybody kind of loads up on the run to stop that quarterback being hot. I think you got to stick with it. I think UConn does a great job sticking with it. I think UCO is great, and that's the best offense in the league. I think they both run the ball better than anybody in the league. Those 2 teams, so maybe something to think about there for the rest of the league. So that'll move us to, and that moves App State to 1-0 division and Miami to 0-2 in the division. Miami really behind the 8 ball. App State in good position right now. Need another win or 2 to clinch a spot, but looking good compared to the rest division, where the rest division is at.
Oof. Oh boy, if Miami loses to us on Monday, they're pretty much out.
Yeah, a lot can happen.
Yeah, I mean, a lot can happen, but 0-3 in your division.
Well, no, if Miami loses and App State beats Georgetown, then they are out. There's no way. There's no way they can. They're not going to pass anybody. It's not possible.
Well, there's a bunch of stuff that needs to be figured out this week. People can clinch this week, realistically. So it is what it is. We'll figure it out.
A lot of clinching actually happened this week, but that is talk for a later day.
Yeah.
So that brings us to a game that I was excited to be part of: Georgetown, Coastal Carolina. I'll let you talk about this one first, and then I'll just get into what was happening in Georgetown's point of view.
I mean, look, when you think about Coastal, they ran a record low number of times. So they kept letting Hoffman, an already cold quarterback, throw the ball. Probably a record-setting time. I don't know how many times they threw the ball, but it was absolutely insane. Every single time I looked, they would throw. That guy was ice cold after the first pick, and they just kept doing it. So they kept putting Georgetown in fantastic field position because they wouldn't even give their offense a chance. When you look at that, that really helped Georgetown win the scoring record so far at 48. I think enabled for anybody to get to 48, it's going to take that. It's going to take the other team just throwing it up. Because at the end of the day, when you run, it takes clock. When you're passing nonstop and you have an ice cold quarterback, there's going to be interceptions, great field position, a pick 6. Like that really helps. So they came out trying something new. They have a quarterback that wants to throw first, the only real quarterback in the league that wants to throw before looking to run. So they came out trying to just nonstop throw, and when it didn't work early, they kept with it and ultimately put Georgetown in the position to have the scoring record. And it just wasn't even close because they allowed ABBA to get hot off of those short fields and touchdowns.
Yeah, no, they were trying to throw the ball around. I think they were trying a new scheme, which was talked about. We talked about last week. We knew they were trying something new. But to me, if you're changing schemes mid season, midweek, you're in trouble. And I think it just showed. He made some good throws. They had to move the ball a little bit, but I think he had 3-4 interceptions in the first half, which always put him behind 8 ball, cost him some points. We didn't really capitalize on all those turnovers, but it did get Abba going. Let him get hotter at the game. In the second half, he was just hitting everything, hitting deep balls straight over the top. Set a new record. 48 points was awesome. So kind of on that. So I wasn't on camera for the game. I had some other plans. So Orpheus and Vice took over. Orpheus was on the controller. I showed up at halftime, and as it's going, I was like, dude, go get it. Go get that record. We were close. And then I was like, man, he took a lot of crap last year. He's been good 5 of the last 6 games. Like, dude, go get that record. Like, shut them all up. I wanted him to show the haters, like, hey, get on it, move on with this Georgetown no offense nonsense. We may not be UConn or UCO right now, but we're a viable offense. We can score points in a hurry. Mm-hmm. Same thing as Miami. We had 3 points at half against Miami. Lit it up the second half, got the win. So I did. I wanted him to get it for Orpheus, and I said it in Discord, like, hey guys, it wasn't even personal against CCU, but I wanted that for Orpheus.
No,
I wanted I wanted the 50 burgers so bad. We were up 2. I was like, please hit half 100. That would have been huge. It would have been awesome to see Orpheus do it. So glad for him. Less on us though. Coastal Carolina, just a team that is struggling right now. Great year last year. Freshman quarterback. And they're just struggling right now. Now, granted, they have played 3 top 3 teams, number 1, number 2, number 3. So, it's kind of understandable, but still, they just haven't been in the games at all. It's been 3 blowouts. Just going the wrong direction right now. What are your thoughts on Coastal Carolina on their last season and coming into this season?
Coming into this season, they'd lost so much talent. We had talked about it last year, and Cage has talked about it. Their one shot to really win the national championship for the next 5 years was last year. Mm-hmm. Not the next 5, but for the next little bit was last year.
2 or 3 seasons probably.
Yeah, it was their best shot. They had the best quarterback in the league. They had the best They were absolutely insane. So when they came into this year, we all knew that they were going to lose some pieces. I think they hired Martin as the DC coming into the year. No one knew anything about him. It's not against him that all these points are being scored. Their offenses are putting people in great field position based off of turnovers. But at the end of the day, this team lost a lot of talent, and they are learning that it's not as easy as it looked. Everything's got to change for that team. Obviously, throwing it up every single play didn't work. You have a really good running attack. Edenfield's a fast running back, man. Mm-hmm. He's good. I like that kid. And to go away from him, he was the only one eating me alive. I mean, they scored a touchdown, but he was the only one doing anything. So it's just to go away from that against Georgetown is a bit weird. You came in that just firing, but we'll see how they do next week.
Yeah, I mean, Hub put up great numbers, but the 4 interceptions hurt obviously, and it's kind of like your game. It was close, and then it just got uglier and uglier as the game went along in the second half. Yeah. So Georgetown really able to pull away, and so we were real excited about that. So let's get to the last game of the week. It was actually a fun game. I don't think we thought it'd be UCO versus North Dakota State, and a game we all thought was going to be a blowout. And then Ender left, and Coach Currency took over. And I got to tell you, I think overall, win for North Dakota State. I mean, they lost the game 17-7, but they were in it till the very end. They really shut down UCO's offense, which is rare. What were your thoughts on this game?
I got to tell you, it's just to shut out UCO, not shut them out, but hold them to basically nothing through that first half is insane from a team, especially a team at Indy State who doesn't have the best roster in the league. So enable for Coach Currency to come in and really help that team out the way he did. I need to see it again. Who knows? Maybe UCO had an off day. Maybe it was a fluke. I need to see it again. They didn't start Vince Young. I think they went back and forth between quarterbacks, not really giving either one a chance to get hot. I think it's a closer game based on what their defense was doing if they gave one quarterback a chance. So I don't know what they're going to do next week. This is one of those teams where, because of this game, they could come out and beat everybody now, or they can just come out and fall flat.
Yeah. So we did talk to Watt at halftime. Watt was talking about how he should have played, so the offense was a little bit discombobulated. He wasn't calling great plays. So I mean that was kind of, but I mean, it was 7-3 till late, and then UCLA's offense got going, got 2 late touchdowns with relative ease, and North Dakota's offense just couldn't get going at all. They didn't know what they wanted to do. They had 2 quarterback system going, which I'd like to see. I'm interested to see how that works going forward. If they stay with that or if they go away from it. But I think impressive for Coach Kernsey. That game could have been real ugly, and it just wasn't. It was close all the way throughout. And there were some control issues we thought, or some play calling issues where we thought it was like they couldn't get the play in time. But I'm sure that'll all work itself out as they go. So, impressive win, impressive debut by Coach Kernsey. Good win for UCO. And again, I know you don't want to talk about this because you're part of it, but like a game that was this close did kind of bring the conversation up again of who's number 1, UConn, UCO. But again, that all gets decided week 5.
Yeah, nothing matters until week 5, even if we
barring everything going as planned week 4.
Yeah,
we'll all figure it out week 5.
I've got to be honest. I think even if we both lose this week, we're going to go 1-2 next week. I don't see it happening, but I'm just saying for next week purposes.
It'll be hot. Maybe I can see that.
Unless App wins again. Unless App wins, it goes 4-0.
Well, I mean, so if you both lose, so UCO loses to Montana, that's a bad loss.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, that's a terrible loss.
If Georgetown or Georgetown plays App State, so either one of those wins, you're beating it. That's a big win.
Yeah, it's a big opponent.
So I mean, we'll see.
I mean, if everything goes as planned, we're going in undefeated, so it'll be fine.
There you go. But any last words on this last week before we move on to next week's matchups?
Fantastic. Just the moral of the story is going forward, do it again.
Do it again. Yeah.
Everybody.
That goes for Georgetown. That goes for UCA, and it goes I think for NDSU as well, right? They show they're impressive. They show they can compete with anybody. Can they build on that? So
exactly.
You're right. Kind of a fluke week. Can you do it again? Okay, so game 1 next week. You're on another Monday game. Look at you go.
Yeah, I'm on. I got this one, and then I got you at the end of the season. That's all Monday games.
Is not Montana, Miami. Sorry, I got my results up here versus UConn. A game that I think could be close. Could also be one-sided. Miami's defense has been somewhat good this year. They haven't played an offense as good as UConn's, though, not even close. Miami, the 2, what I would say, quality opponents they've played, has lost both of them. Lost Georgetown, lost to App State. Offense had trouble getting going in both games, or sustaining at least. They got going at Georgetown, and then they got pretty shut out after that. Couldn't get anything going against App State. I would expect UConn to win this game. It may be closer than UConn's other games. I don't think it'll be super close, though. I'm thinking 12 to 17 points in that area. 2, 3, maybe 3-score game. I don't think it'll be 48-7. I don't think it'll be your normal blowout, but I do think you'll win it pretty comfortably. What are your thoughts on this game? What do you expect to see from Miami?
Big fan of the Miami coaching staff. They're still learning. At the end of the day, they've had 3 games. They're still learning. Merrill's calling a lot of stuff that works, and he's calling a lot of stuff that doesn't work in this league. Yeah. So really, it's like he's learning how to call an offense. The defense is not going to go too into depth on the whole thing. However, at the end of the day, it's our first game where we're playing a team that actually has a win. So that's the biggest thing. All props to Miami for getting a win, especially with that base team, without a recruiting class, coming in, getting a win, and not really getting going, but sticking in with Georgetown until the second half when you guys took it, and really sticking in with App for at least the first half. It was, I believe, 3-3. So credit to them. They're having amazing first halves. They're not playing in the second half well, and I think that's MT3. It all runs through him. this is the only team we've played with a win, like I said. But I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling good about this game in particular. I just think we match up extremely well against this team. I think we're the best offense they've seen. And fun fact, I do think we're the best defense they've seen. Except for obviously App State with 3 interceptions on them, and you guys doing what you do. I mean, we've held opponents to 28 points through 3 weeks.
That's
So
impressive.
it's just it's with me right now, unless we lose this game, I'll probably still say it. But I'm throwing modesty. I don't care. I legit think we're the best team they've played.
I know. I agree. I think you're hands down the best team they've played so far. Two teams. There's that UC tier. Those teams that now look pretty unbeatable unless they play each other. It's just how it looks right now. Miami's been in their games like they were driving to win the game against App State. Like they were almost to the red zone, and MT3 threw another game losing interception. Again, I said game losing. It wasn't why they lost the game, but they're driving and he makes a giant mistake that really iced the game. So, they gotta figure that out. Maybe take some less risk on those drives. Like you're driving, like just take what they give you. Stop trying to take those deep shots when you don't need them. But they'll learn. You're right. We talked about this in the preseason special. You gotta learn the coaches league. Coaches league is not just the same user league. You call the same plays and 4 verts works every time, and you've got to learn what works, what doesn't work, how to get your quarterback going. Merrill's getting there. He's kind of figuring it out. Barack is a great leader so far for them. I don't know who's calling their defensive plays, to be honest with you. I'm not
Cyrock.
Cyrock, that's right. I remember seeing him. Cyrock's been doing good. App State didn't score a whole lot of points. Did App State have 2 pick sixes?
Yeah, I think they had 2 pick sixes. That sounds right to me. An App for the second game in a row has a last minute pick 6 to win the game.
Yeah,
so.
I know App State's defense kept them in that game. They held Georgetown down pretty good, especially through the first half. So defense, Cyrock's been doing a great job. They're all been doing a great job. They ran into 2 teams that were probably just better than them, especially roster-wise. No one wants to believe me. People was, you're wrong. But 2 recruiting classes compared to 1 is a world of difference.
Yeah.
So, like, we got 5 our first time, and we got 8. So we have 13 players who are probably better than any 13 players. Plus, we got our transfers and stuff. They got their 5 or so from this last recruiting class. We're basically a whole starting roster ahead of you. It recruits in this league, even 3 stars, make a world difference. If you're new to this, if you're new to RFCL, please make a recruit. Please make recruits.
I mean, even if it's just a 3-star, 3 stars is free to make. John Jones, my freshman receiver, is a 3-star. He's probably the best receiver on my team. So, even 3 stars come in and they start, man. It's just how it is.
Bobby Boucher is a star of our defense. He's a sophomore year. He's a 3-star last year. He was a star of defense last year. The 3 stars are big in this league. Please make a recruit. If you're in the gridiron, please make a recruit.
You can't say it loud enough.
Yeah, there's 60 guys in that league. Just make a recruit. Sign up the first team that messages you if you want to. Just please make a recruit. But yeah, so I think they'll catch up with recruits after 1 season. We'll see how they go. That coaching staff's pretty good. I think it's a solid coaching staff, so I'm sure they'll figure it out. With that, let's move on to the next game. Tuesday night, 7:00, Upper Iowa versus Coastal Carolina. 2 teams having totally different seasons. Upper Iowa suffered a loss. Nobody expected UCA last week. It hurt them. Coastal Carolina is just on a straight downfall right now. Cannot get it going. It's going down in flames at the moment. But hopefully, Upper Iowa. I don't want to say they played 3 good teams, so that's I'm going to say. Point is, probably a better matchup for Coastal Carolina this week. I don't think it matters. I think Upper Iowa gets this win. I think Coastal Carolina just haven't figured it out right now. I don't know if they're going to try to change schemes again. I don't know if they're going to try to just maybe go back to their old scheme. I think they've got too many question marks. I think Upper Iowa knows what they want to do. We know what Upper Iowa wants to do. They've got a great receiver in Vlad Tavarsky. They've got a great running game. Versa, Sneak, and Zeke just really know what they're doing. I think Upper Iowa wins this game probably by 10 points or so, 7 to 10 points, 1 score maybe. That's kind of how I see this game going. How about yourself, Pars?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's Coastal's having a rough year, and I think it's going to continue for at least a little bit. Twist and Gage are great at what they do, and they'll figure it out. UIU just lost to UCA, so that's kind of a stain on their record, stain on their season. Unless UCA picks it up and goes on a tear, everyone thought that UCA wouldn't win, and they come out and win. So it's kind of a stain on their season. However, it's just I think they got away from what they wanted to do, right? I think we saw more deep shots in that game by UIU than we have all season by anybody. They just kept throwing deep. Barry wasn't never never warm. The running game wouldn't work because our offensive line was getting bullied. In my opinion, this is a good matchup for both of them here because one's going to be able to do what they want and the other one's going to be able to figure things out as they go. So really what it comes down to is this should be a very good matchup. It shouldn't be incredibly high scoring. I don't think it'll be another 30-point loss for CCU, but we never know because they could get hot pretty quick, UIU, and see what happens.
Yeah, this game could go either way. I just think UIU's got more momentum. There's too many question marks for Coastal Carolina. I don't know what they want to do in offense. Their defense has struggled. So I see UIU's pulling it out. Moving to 3-1 in a year is what I think there's going to happen. A loss here will not affect division standings. And this is a non-division game. This game is really just kind of it is a good game for Coastal Carolina to figure things out because you don't have to win. They are behind the 8 ball as they are 0-2 in division already. So they have to win their last 2 games or they're going to be eliminated. So a good game for them to try to figure it out. And UIU, 2-1 in the year, 1-1 division. Maybe a good time to test some things out. Maybe try to ship it for the UCA game. UCA game is kind of a bad look for them. But I think this will be a good time for them to figure it back out. Get themselves right to finish out division play and move into the playoffs.
Agreed.
Moves us to the next game, Tuesday 8:30. A big game with big playoff implications is App State versus Georgetown. In a game that is a big matchup. Pars, what's your thoughts on this game?
I believe if Georgetown wins, they're 3-0 in the division, so that pretty much locks in. Actually, completely locks in a spot. When you look at this game, I think it'll be a great game, man. It can. If Georgetown's offense can do what they did last week, they win this game by a mile. However, this is a really good defense on the other side. 2 pick sixes to end games. Keeps them in games. Their offense can't move unless they're running the ball, which is really hard because everyone's going to know it's coming. They're going to force you to throw a Sandy. But Spurbeck has been the best running back in the league right now. He's been absolutely insane carrying that offense. And that defense, like I said, 2 pick sixes to end games. They beat NDSU off of a pick six in a game they probably should have lost. It was a rookie coach mistake on the other side. However, if they come out and play great defense, I don't think we're going to see ABBA have a great day. It's just how it is. This is a very good defense. This might be the best defense Georgetown's played. So when you look at it like that, I think it'll be a very, very tightly close affair. I think you're going to each hold each other to low points. And in the end of the day, I think you win because you're able to pass the ball. And that's really going to set you apart from App State right now because they can't throw the ball.
I mean, they were having trouble throwing the ball. Like I said, throwing 3 attempts last game. That leads to defenses knowing what's coming. It leads to blitzes. It leads to run commits to make you beat us over the top. Looking forward to this game. This is a big game for us. This will lock in a playoff spot regardless. I think we're already locked, but I guess there is some crazy scenario where every team in the division finishes 2-2. I don't see that being a thing, but I guess it is technically possible. Even if they were plus 36, so I don't think. Anyway, this would for sure lock this. Yeah, you'd have to lose 2. Coastal Carolina have to win 2 by like a combined 80 point. It's a whole lot for us to not be in the playoffs. Yeah. But then, regardless, this would a win here locks us in. For sure, locks us in, and then basically locks us in for the division championship game, barring again some other crazy stuff. But the big game for us. We're excited. We know App State is always in close games. We're expecting a close game. We know how good they do in scrimmages. We're actually pretty familiar with them. Vicey and Orpheus scrimmage these guys a lot. So it's going to be a game of 2 teams who are very familiar with each other. So it'll be a game of chess trying to figure out what can we do to change it up enough to get by them and take them by surprise. Saint doesn't throw the ball a lot, but when he does, they can beat you over top if you get in wrong defense, you do a wrong run commit. Spearbeck is an absolute stud.
Yep.
Absolute stud so far. Very impressive to watch. They're doing great in the run game. Nicotine and Monarch know what they're doing. They're also a great coaching staff along with Miami. So I'm looking forward to this game. It's gonna be a barn burner. I don't see either team pulling away here.
No, and when I'm looking at the schedules and who you guys have played, you guys are by far the best team that they have played this season. In my opinion, just
Agreed.
absolutely. I mean, Miami, Ohio is right below you, but you're by far the best team they've played this season. And honestly, when you look at their wins, Montana 16-14. If you look at what, for example, and I hate to say this, you look at what I did to Montana, and then NDSU 15-7. You look at what UCO just did. So obviously NDSU on the come up since week 1, but they're in these close games with teams that they should blow out if they want to be a top 3 team in this league. So going up against you guys, the best team overall that they faced, and again, they have the best defense that I think you faced. So when it really comes down to it, I think it'll be a great game all over. To be honest with you, this is my game of the week right here.
Yeah, I agree. It could be game of the week. Also, mainly because like there's giant playoff implications. It is the 2 top 3 teams going at it, and it should be a close game. Actually, so last year these 2 teams played in an opposite situation where we were both trying to get our first win in like week 6. These 2 teams struggled last year, and we both turned it around.
That's
so
fun.
far this year. Last year we win that game. We were both, I think, 0-5. We're both like, we've got to get a win, just get on the board. We pulled that one out. That's when our offense kind of turned around. So hopefully we can beat them again, keep our momentum going, jump into that solo number 3 spot, and then start looking at the playoffs. Because once we win this game, I'm looking at playoffs, looking at seedings where I can figure out who I'm going to play. Because the rest of the season is meh. But we'll see what happens. Coach Mason will be ready, and it'll be a good game regardless. I'm just telling you. We're in. I'm not worried about it.
The rest of the season is meh, and then you see me at the bottom in the last game.
Well, I mean, it's a big game, but like I'm in the playoffs.
It probably won't have any implications.
Yeah, I'm in the playoffs, so like it won't.
If we're being completely honest, that game probably won't have any, other than first place. Like that. And
that's if we beat App State, that game will be for first place. Either for a tie or solo, one of the 2. So
yeah,
yeah. But that brings us to our next game. I don't want to dwell on this game too much. Into a game that could also be game of the week, I believe, in UCA North Dakota State. 2 teams that honestly grabbed some minimum last week. UCA got a win over UIU. Big win for them. Move up in rankings. NDSU, who didn't get a win but showed well against UCO. This could be an interesting game to see how Kernsey and company adjusted to playing a team that's not in that top tier. See if they still run 2 quarterback system, if they manage the clock a little better. I had some issues with how they managed the clock last week. This is me personally, my coaching style. It's subjective, obviously. And then UCA, can they keep Parker Howell going? Can they get another win? This game would be big playoff implication-wise as well for both these teams. So what do you think about this game, Pars?
Both these teams are coming off great performances. I mean, you look at NDSU and you say, hey, they lost. And, it wasn't extremely close. But at the same time, they played the number 1 team in the league, and they held them in check for most of the game. So both of these teams are coming off great performances. In my opinion, I have no idea who wins this game. I was about to come up with something. But if we look at both these teams, man, it's a barn. I don't know. I think it'll be extremely low scoring. I think both these teams will see at least 2 turnovers. Both these teams, man, I think we'll see just a bunch of not great football. If I'm being honest with you, Kernsey is a great coach. He's coming in, he's helping out, he's doing what he can. It's his second time in this league as a head coach, and he's really trying to learn everything we do. It's his first season here. He might be the godfather of the coaches mode, but he's not the godfather of this. There's a bunch of new things in here that we do, a bunch of things that'll confuse him, and he's trying to learn. He's a great guy. Love him. Great guy, great people over there in both teams. But at the end of the day, I don't think either team makes a step this year. Both teams right now, big for division. Somebody's got to win. Somebody's got to go. And in my opinion, that's NDSU.
This is going to be...
I have no idea.
NDSU's got to go. You think NDSU wins this game?
Yeah, yep. I gotta make a choice. And you know what? We're gonna go with that. UCA with the fluke last week. We're going with that.
Yeah, so I mean, I could see that for sure. I tend to think UCA pulls this out because Kernsey and them are still kind of figuring stuff out. They don't have a good quarterback. I think this league's very much like real life. If you have 2 quarterbacks, it means you don't have 1 quarterback.
Yeah, no, okay, I will agree.
I don't know. Me and Gabe were talking about, like, how does that affect the flow of the other quarterback when they bring in the other quarterback? Like, if one gets going, you bring in the other one for an option run. Does that mess up the guy's flow?
Yeah.
It seems like it did a little bit. We don't know that for sure. A lot for them to figure out if that's the way they're going to go.
Let's be honest. If they come out in a 2 quarterback system, UCA wins this game.
I kind of agree. I tend to agree. And playoff wise, like, I'm pretty sure if UCA wins this game and Montana doesn't pull a shock of the century and beat UCO, they're in, which would be a far cry from where we thought they'd be.
Dude.
So a big game for them. Yeah,
4 division games is wild.
Yeah.
It is
It's
what
nuts.
it is. I mean, we don't have a lot of teams. We have 10. Probably gonna have 10 for the foreseeable future. But 4 division games, and you know who's in after week 4 is just a bit. I mean, we only have 7 weeks. So never mind.
We don't know. No, but so I think the top 2 teams get started pretty early.
Yeah.
The third team I think could get hairy, especially in the West. The West is an absolute shambles.
Yes.
The West is in absolute shambles.
Absolute shambles.
4 of their 5 teams have negative point differentials. The one that's positive is UCO. It is just not good for them in the West right now. But it is what it is. I think UCA pulls. I'm gonna go. I think UCA pulls this out. I think they clinch a playoff spot and leave NDSU kind of again just trying to figure things out.
Yeah, it's a throwaway season. We're gonna learn as we go, and we'll see what happens next year.
Yeah, and that brings us to our last game of the week. A game with another head coach, Blake, relinquishing his role as head coach. Coach Jett taking over from Montana, UCO, Montana. 2 teams going totally opposite directions. UCO now champion, undefeated, scoring a lot of points, winning a lot of games. And Montana's offense has not been able to figure out at all. 0-3, not looking good. Do you see this game being a shocker, Pars? Do you think Montana's going to shock the world here?
Not even a little bit.
No.
Like when we talked about last week when there was a bunch of shocks, that's true. And anything could happen on any given football day. I was going to say any given Sunday, but we play every other day. So anything can happen, to be honest with you. And when we look at this game, this is just a game where nothing's going to happen. I take it back. Not anything can happen. The Grizz are in shambles on this season. When you look at it on paper, they have an amazing offense. They can't do anything with it. Chalupa Batman threw 4 interceptions last week against me. UCO's defense is up there too. It just, if they can't get anything going, if they stay doing the exact same thing they've been doing, they won't win a game. Everyone knows what's coming. Wildcats, little dink and dives, little plays. I know exactly what play you're going to run before you run it. That's how I really won that game. In the second half, we knew exactly what offensive play you were calling before you even ran it. Until like they started changing it up. Then that's when they started driving, but they always went back to what worked, and what worked isn't winning you a game this year.
Yeah, they're just their offense is struggle busted for a while. I don't know for Coach Jett to figure it out, but like they've just got to be more. You're right, more diverse in what they do. Change it up, but you can't. I'm not saying be crazy and get super diverse, but like you can't. If people know what you're running, it's over.
Yes.
And you said you figured it out, so like I'm sure you were just like calling plays, committing, shutting them down. They got to figure out a quarterback situation. Is Chalupa the guy? If he is, do we go to more of an option read game, more of a run game? If he's not the guy, what do we do? I mean, they've got to get an identity. They don't have an identity. We think they're going to get one with the Wildcat stuff, and they just go away from it. They've got to figure something out. And I don't know. And they've got to figure it out. I mean, and this is a bad game to figure it out because UCO has it figured out, and they're going to drop 30-something on you. They might break the scoring record again. Scoring record this year has been written down in pencil because it is just being shattered every week.
Yeah.
We might see it's possible UCO puts 50 on this week. That's the kind of matchup it is for Montana right now.
Listen, with my coaching staff and with UCO's coaching staff, they're going to figure it out. I'll open up a bit. There was one play in the game where a middle linebacker picked him off on a corner route because literally we're sitting there and I go, Raider, I think they just picked bench. And I goes, you're absolutely correct. They just picked bench. So we came out in cover 6. It was the easiest read of our lives. That was a pick. We got down in good field position and went and scored. So if we're figuring that out, UCO is going to figure it out, and it won't be pretty.
Yeah, no. This is a tough stretch schedule for Montana and a bad game to try to figure this stuff out. So we'll see how it goes for them. Hopefully it goes well. We'll see. We shall see.
Ooh, I feel bad.
So that's all the matchups for next week, guys. Again, the first game's Monday at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock.
This time?
Yep, 7 o'clock this time. Miami of Ohio versus UConn on the RFL YouTube channel. Recruiting starts in a couple weeks, guys. Please make a recruit. If you haven't made a recruit, please make a recruit. We need them. It's fun. It's awesome. You can be as engaged or as disengaged as you want to be. If you want to be an engaged recruit, we love for your recruits to be engaged. DMs, chats, game plans. It's a lot of fun. Pars, anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this up?
I mean, I don't let my recruits game plan, but it's all up to what you guys want to do.
Well, I mean, it's like you can be part of the conversation, maybe, or just I have a group chat with all my recruits, and no one talks on it. They all kind of like meh. So
I invited them all to a separate Discord. I have a UConn Discord. I think only Vicey and Orpheus joined. So it's really just it's what you want to do. How much you put into it is how much you're getting out of it.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea, actually. Any questions? I'm open for questions from chat. Anybody's in chat wants to bring anything up. I see a couple guys here. Vicey is 40 minutes behind, so he's going to miss this. I'm not here for 40 minutes waiting for you. XWF10, welcome to the chat. You have any questions about RFCL? What's going on? Pete, Excel, anybody's here? While we're waiting for people to type, Pars, you have anything to talk about before we wrap this up, man?
You know what? I'm pretty sure I can think of something, but I'm just so excited to go into this week. After last week, I think the league got shaken to its core, and I really can't wait to see what happens. The only thing that could even if people continue the way they're going, this season's going to be fantastic. I think the West is in shambles. However, they're looking up with Central Arkansas with that win.
Mm-hmm.
If NDSU wins that whole, I don't even know what's happening over there. The East is so much more intact. But anyways, when we look at it, I know somebody said earlier something about, if the West continues to be absolute in shambles, do we look at changing up the divisions? And I believe the answer was not this year and not next year. But maybe if it continues through 2 seasons. I just don't know what I think or how that's going to work, considering, everyone has the same recruits this year. We don't have a lot of recruits right now, so everybody please go make recruits. But at the end of the day, I just don't know what anyone's going to look like next year, and they could be like me and look great this year when their quarterback threw 15 interceptions the past year. So nobody really knows what's going to happen. I just can't wait to see what happens this week.
It was a big week. A lot of coaching changes, a couple upsets. I'm excited this week. I just want to see if we can keep going on offense. I don't expect to score 48 again, but I'd like to see us keep the momentum going. Really start to show that our offense can move the ball, our offense can score points, and we're not a one-trick pony with our defense. So Orpheus will be looking to do that. That's what I'm excited about. And then I'm excited about the NDSU UCA game, big game. So should be a fun week. Everybody check it out. I'm not seeing anybody pop any questions in the chat, so I'm going to assume that's going to be it for us. Unless last chance Pars, you got anything else, bud?
No, that's fine by me, man. Can't wait for this week. Get to see if everybody's for real or not. So you better come right, and you better be for real, because if you're giving everybody this hope, and I'm not talking to you specifically, Georgetown, but these teams that have given everybody hope for a good season, if you come and you lose and it's back to the same stuff, you can't be doing that. You got to come, and you got to come right.
I hear you. Everybody, that's me, Coach Trigger, and Coach Pars, Coach's Corner at week 3. Again, 7 o'clock kickoff, Monday night, RFL YouTube channel. We should be back on Sunday next week, normal day. We changed it to Saturday because of the selection show for the Gridiron League, and Caleb was moving, and he didn't show up anyway because he got in a fight at Pars. So it worked out. Sunday, same time next week. This was a special week. So until next time, guys. See you later. See you Monday night.
Never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves. We won't let the world burn away.